And hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 29 of the GrowCast Show. I have with me today a very special guest, Jason Liu. He's the founder of Jason Elle Property, and he has got over 15 years of experience in the property market. Jason, my man, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, very happy to be here.
Very nice, Jason. So, Jason, my first question for everybody, the standard question is, what does being better than normal mean to you?
Okay, to be better than normal, I want to be above market standards. I want to be above market performance. And in sales, in real estate, I believe in having a good experience with my customers and being right with them, being patient with them, being intimate with them, understanding their needs, and then surpassing their expectations. Yeah.
Very nicely said. And what makes you better than normal?
Okay, for me, I'm a property agent, real estate agent, but me, myself, I'm an investor as well. So I'm able to understand buying needs, selling needs, and also the aspects of investment. In fact, Vicky, in the last 10 years, I sold and buy 4 properties. And all of them have appreciated in value. So I enjoy the process of buying and selling and the investment aspects of a property and what the benefits that real estate investment can bring.
Very nice. I mean, real estate is one of the most valuable assets anybody can have, right? And I'm sure you've got some amazing stories. We'll go into that as well. But I want to go to the origin story, Jason. Tell us your origin story. How did you end up in the property industry?
Okay, it's a funny incident. So I was actually working in China for about 4 years, since year 2000. So I was watching a drama series in China, and then it's about property development and property harvesting, like how people make money through property. I got really intrigued and attracted by the show. So somehow that show puts in a thought in me. I want to do something about property when time comes. Then after that, I came back to Singapore for a vacation. Then I met a friend, and then my friend starts sharing with me about property, and he's a real estate agent for 10 years then. Yeah, so somehow it resonates in me. Hey, maybe I can do something about real estate, about property. Then when I start to think about this, I feel that real estate is the biggest asset in a person's life. It's the biggest asset in a person's life. And then if I could help them grow, it could make a difference to their generations as well. So I find that the industry it has a purpose, and I got started to have passion for it. And then that's how I entered into the real estate industry. And before I know, it's about 15 years already. Yeah.
Time flies, huh?
Time flies, yeah.
And maybe if we could go back in time, Jason, what advice would you give a younger version of Jason when he just started?
Okay, many advice, but I think 3 things. So be more focused, be more disciplined, and to find the right mentor, find a good mentor at the start. Yeah. So one thing that I regretted is not having good mentors at the start of my career. I want to be more independent. I want to learn things myself. But I feel that having a right mentor, I can cut short my learning curve and avoid more detours.
And Jason, there are 34,000 plus real estate agents in Singapore currently. What makes you different?
Okay, if a person sit down with me at the table, they find that I'm very personal, and I take time to understand their needs, because individual buying preferences and aspirations can be very different. One's budget can be very different. Long-term planning can be different as well. So I take time to understand before I propose a solution, like which property is better, which location, and things like that. But I think among all these things, I'm a property investor myself. So like I shared with you earlier, in the last 10 years, I traded about 4 properties. Yeah, so I know how the mindset should be to be a buyer, to be a seller, and to be a property investor. So I feel that I can relate to customers in different aspects in these areas.
Okay. Yeah. And what 3 words would your client usually use to describe you and working with you?
I feel that they will always say that I'm very detailed, that I'm always present from the start to the end, and they can feel my sincerity. Not just to make a quick sale, but to take care of their needs, all the way until, maybe when they want to sell again, that time could be about 5 years to even 20 years later. Yeah.
Makes sense. And who are you currently looking to serve in this property journey?
Okay, I look forward to serve HDB upgraders because I used to start with HDB myself. My first flat was at Khatib HDB resale. It was a 30 over years property. And then from there, I grew it to me and my wife, Eloise. We now have 2 properties under our name. Yeah, so I understand the pain points and the aspirations of a HDB upgrader. The fears they have, the anxiety when it comes to, I want to upgrade. Yeah, so I hope I can help them in this journey to their property upgrading plans. Yeah.
Okay. And what makes you uniquely qualified to serve this group of property HDB upgraders?
I think I will understand their needs. Like what I mentioned, I come from HDB. I stay in HDB itself. Yeah, I used to stay in a 4-room resale flat. So when I want to upgrade, to a private property, so I was just thinking about my budget. Can I sustain? And then even though I'm a real estate agent, I will worry will property prices appreciate still in the long term and things like that. So I can understand their concerns and their needs.
Okay. And do all condominiums always appreciate in price in Singapore?
I think if you look at the last 30 years, 20 or 30 years, property prices do appreciate for condos, but there are some condos that actually lost money. So actually it really depends on the time frame you are saying that. So for example, in the year I think 2016, that period of time, there are some condos that actually lost money. I'll not name the names of the condos, but some of the property owners, they can lose $1 million to $3 million in these condos. And some of these are in upscale area, like Harbourfront area near the MRT, or some could be at Bishan area near the MRT as well. So there are property that didn't fare well, didn't do so well in certain period of time. So got to be very careful to ascertain your entry price and also understand when to exit and how to exit.
Makes perfect sense. And what is the number one common mistakes that HDB to condo upgraders make?
Okay, so usually HDB owners, they have a aspiration. I want to finally able to go into a private condo, and then they will ascertain the budget. But I find that most of them, when they ascertain the budget, there are some things that they miss out. For example, budgeting, of course, is monthly installment, upfront cash portion. But sometimes they fail to count in like property tax. It's always higher for a private property. Then maintenance fees you got to pay. It's no longer the HDB conservancy, and then sinking funds as well for some condos. So the total ownership cost could be, they may not fully understand. And then there could be some missteps, thinking that buying a condo will always make money. So these are some concerns that I have when I talk to HDB owners. They fail to see the whole aspect. And some of them even want to commit hastily into a decision. So these are some areas that I can value add and share with them.
And since you've spoken to so many of them, right? How does somebody avoid these mistakes?
Okay, I think it's good to talk to a trusted real estate agent. Of course, nowadays there are more and more buyers wanting to do it yourself, DIY, but sometimes they fail to understand the full aspects. Yeah, so some of them, they enter into a contract or legal contract or OTP. Some of them enter into OTP, then realize that the amount is too big. And then they want to come up from that OTP, and then they lost their deposit. So I think it's worthwhile to speak to a trusted real estate agent that's well versed in local scene, and then can give you the details of the breakdown of the cost in the total ownership perspective.
Very true. And which area in Singapore do you feel is currently undervalued in terms of private property price growth?
Okay, I will not use the word undervalue, because it's quite hard, in my point of view, to spot undervalued properties per se. But I would say that you can buy into areas that has chance for future appreciation. So for example, you can consider in today's climate to buy into properties that's near to future MRT lines. Yeah, like the Cross Island Line. So Cross Island Line extends from the airport area all the way to Bright Hill in future, and then that's phase 1, then all the way to the west side as well. So you can consider buying properties there that have future leverage on the transformation by URA and LTA. Yeah, so for example, the Thomson East Coast Line. So some properties along that line, in the last few years, they appreciated about 6 to 9%. So it's worthwhile to explore these areas for future transformation and better connectivity.
Makes perfect sense. What's the difference between an executive condo and a condo?
Okay, there's a few differences. So executive condo for buyers, right, when they go and buy, they can actually get grants by government. It's a subsidized kind of condo. Condo. Yeah, and also, but they face some controls, restrictions, like only Singaporeans, or Singapore plus a PR person can buy a brand new EC, executive condo. So not everybody can just enter into EC ownership. Then EC owners, they face a MOP period, minimum occupation period. They must stay for 5 years before they can sell, or 5 years before they can fully rent out the property. And then who you can sell to also has some restrictions. So after the 5 years, you can sell to PR, but after the 10-year mark, they can sell to foreigners. So there's some differences between an executive condo EC and a private property. But for private property, there's no controls. You can sell within the same year as well, but you got to fork out the seller stamp duty. So private condos, they don't have so many restrictions compared to EC.
That's great. And in Woodlands area, right, there's the RTS. So I want to talk a bit about
Yeah.
that because you talk about Khatib. I also actually grew up in the Khatib area. And then my
Okay, I
parents
see.
are my grandmother was in Khatib. So my parents are in Woodlands. So and this question is close to my heart because my parents' house is just nearby where it's actually being built. So, would the RTS in the JBSG affect the rental demand in Singapore?
Okay, in my own perspective, because RTS will bring forth a lot of convenience. Yeah, so I think they aim to ease the traffic congestion at the causeway. So I read that actually it takes about maybe 5 minutes to just take the train from Woodlands North all the way to the new Bukit Changga station in Johor Bahru. And then I also read that it can bring about 10,000 passengers on one direction, and it's like about 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes I just mentioned about the traveling time. So I feel that this might take away some rental demand, especially the Malaysians who are currently staying in Singapore, working in the northern side of Singapore. Right now, they maybe have an alternative. I don't have to rent in Singapore right now, whereby rents are so much higher. I can easily just rent in JB or buy a unit in JB, and then I can just take the train and commute every day. So I feel that maybe on the northern side especially, the rental volume transactions may drop, or maybe the price may also come down a little. But having said that, I don't think it's a big drastic move because these are the Malaysian customers. But there again, there could be some expats, like maybe they're Filipinos or maybe whichever working in Singapore, they may consider living at Malaysia and then coming to Singapore for work.
Very true. And is overseas property investment a good choice for Singaporeans?
I think it's an alternative, especially Singapore property prices have increased so much. But then again, one must be careful, of the legal restrictions there, the government regulations, and then some changes in government regulations and protocols can be quite fast, especially against foreign buying. And also exchange rate risk as well. Yeah, so I do have customers, one own a property in Malaysia, and the other in Philippines. They have been holding for about 5 years already, 5 to 6 years, but both haven't really made money. Yeah, and then didn't really see appreciation. And in fact, with the current exchange rate, right, actually their property prices have depreciated in value. Yeah, so one must be really careful and then know your choices. Yeah, especially in a big country, when you buy, right, there could always be supply and continuously adding on to a situation, to a given location, unlike Singapore, whereby supply of land is so limited.
And now that, interest rates are rising everywhere, right? How would rising interest rates affect the property market in 2024?
Okay. A rising interest rate will actually stifle demand because generally buyers or investors will feel like, I got to pay higher interest right now. So somehow that could maybe moderate demand or even bring down demand. But in 2024, I feel that interest rates should moderate, stabilize, or maybe come down in the later half of 2024. So Singapore interest rates, they respond according to US Federal Reserve, their actions. And we know that they have intention to trim down the interest rates in US side in the later half of 2024. Yeah. So I read a report, I think from Maybank Economists. I think for 2024, right, it should be coming down to about 3.25%. Currently it's about 3.7 for the 3-month SORA. So it may bring down to about 3.25% in the later half of 2024. And then they predicted, according to a report, in 2025, interest rates could come down below 3% for the 3-month SORA. Yeah, so if interest rates do come down, then I think buyers at the sideline, they may be interested to explore their buying options again, and that could bring up demand.
And talking a bit more about the type of rates that are available, which kind of loan is better, fixed rate or variable rate?
Okay, I was in today's climate, right? I think fixed rates do offer better choices because fixed rate at last check is about 3% currently in the market. But for SORA, 3-month SORA is about near 4% still. So if you can hop onto a fixed rate, it could be a better option for now. But then try not to tie yourself too long because if interest rates do still come down, then at least you are able to have the flexibility to change to other types of loans.
And in your opinion, how is the Singapore real estate market looking in 2024?
Okay, I think very good question. I think that the worries and the uncertainties in 2023 will go into 2024. And pretty much there's a geopolitical tensions, microeconomic factors, rising interest rates. And then people will always have a question, Jason, when will interest rates really come down? Will US side start to change their mind and then they increase the interest rates further? So not so sure, but I think pretty much uncertainty will still loom around the real estate sentiments in 2024. But having said that, I feel that the demand on the ground is still there. I foresee that with, let's say, US side cut their interest rates. So I feel that maybe overall Singapore property prices for residential private should rise about 3 to 4% in 2024. And then we have the public housing market. So government make a commitment like from 2021 to 2025, they want to increase the BTO supply. I think it's about 100,000 flats, yeah. So with that, but I think there's still a kind of resale demand because not everybody can wait for a new house to be built. Yeah, and then to wait for the MOP from there. So I feel that for resale HDB prices, it should maybe rise about 3% to 5%. Yeah, but this is quite moderated already compared to the high percentage increase over the last 2 years.
Makes sense. And is it legal to buy property under trust to avoid ABSD?
It's legal, but you must follow strictly IRA's guidelines. Okay, so first thing is to buy a property under trust now, you got to pay a ABSD, additional buyer stamp duty of 65%. Yeah, so it was recently revised. Previously it was 35%. Yeah, so my customer bought at 35% that time. Yeah, so to qualify for the refund, you must pay the ABSD first, and then the trust, right? You must be under a beneficiary that can be named. So it cannot be somebody you buy under that has no name or doesn't in existence. So the person or the child or the minor, it must be named. It must be a definite person, and then after they must file into IRAS. Within 6 months of purchase, to qualify for the refund, the ABSD. So it's not a loophole in the law. No, it's you can buy under trust, but you must be prepared to pay the ABSD first of 65% right now.
That's a big jump from 35 to 65%. Yeah. Jason, so what is TDSR and MSR, and how does this affect both the private property and the HDB properties?
Okay. TDSR stands for Total Debt Servicing Ratio. MSR stands for Mortgage Servicing Ratio. So basically, these two are frameworks put by MAS to actually encourage financial prudence in the budgeting and the calculations of one person's loan. So for example, TDSR currently now, it only stands at 55%. That means a person who wants to buy a house, their monthly servicing ratio for the mortgage cannot exceed 55% of their income. So likewise for MSR, currently stands at 30%. So if I want to buy a HDB or a brand new EC, right? So HDB or the banks will assess me. My income, right? I cannot spend more than 30% of my income on my mortgage installments. Yeah. So this is a way that government wants to encourage responsible borrowing and financial prudence. So somehow this acts as a cap. Okay, I won't say a cap, but somehow acts as it puts on like a ceiling to how much a person can borrow. And ultimately also how much a person can spend on property, their mortgage and things like that. So somehow it will limit the growth or slows down the growth of the prices of properties over time.
And also it makes people a little bit think twice about property, right?
Financial prudence.
If not, they'll buy 70%, 80%, they'll go in debt, and then the next thing you know, we'll be in trouble like other countries that we know of as well.
Because if your loan given is higher, you tend to want to buy at a higher price for your properties. You don't mind because you have a higher loan. But right now the loan is being limited, then you think more, I got to use more cash and my own CPF to own a property.
Makes sense. I like it actually, even though I don't like it, but I like it at the same time.
Yes,
if you know what I mean.
Thing, yeah.
And let's talk about private property. So new launch versus resale, right? Which one is better to make money in Singapore?
Okay. I would say that if you want to make money, okay, you must consider the time frame, okay, how long you want to own the property. So for me, right, in the last 3 years, I bought a new launch. Okay, initially I want to buy a resale, I want to buy for stay, but I think that it's okay. I just buy a new launch because I want to have capital appreciation in the fastest time. Then if possible, I want to exit myself from the market. So I hold the property for actually 3 years to avoid the seller stamp duty, and I make about 200,000 from the property. It's a new launch property. Yeah, so new launch, everybody buy at the same price. Then after 3 years of building, the property is ready, keys are ready to hand over, to the new buyers. Generally, I think almost everyone, unless it's things happen, they should exit at a higher price and you can make the difference. 3 years. Yeah, so for me it's 3 years. But to be more prudent, I would say maybe 5 years to 8 years because market factors are changing, costs are rising, and then interest rates are higher as well. Yeah, so maybe 5 to 8 years. But if you want to buy a property for stay, you probably can't enter into a new launch. You have to buy a resale property. Yeah, it doesn't mean that resale properties don't make money, but it may take a longer time, and you must be selective and prudent, to make your own assessment. to make sure that, to be sure that this private property resale one that you buy, it can actually still increase over time because you're already buying at a higher price compared to the other owners that bought much earlier than you, especially the first owners.
Makes sense. And what are the three main things to know when spotting a good property for capital appreciation?
I would say location is important, especially near to good schools and MRT stations, Then I feel that generally you must also look out for urban transformation. What is the transformation that could be coming to the area? Like what I mentioned earlier, like if you buy something that is not near the MRT, but in future there's a MRT, not a station, but a whole new line, then potentially it can create appreciation factors as well. Then the next thing will be the layout. Because if you buy a house, the layout is nice and regular. It's easy for you to put your furniture and things like that. But if you buy a layout that has odd shape, maybe some people may not like because of feng shui reason, or they just don't like odd shape. They feel that the size is not being maximized. So Vicky, yesterday I just went to see a penthouse in Adam Road area. So it has different odd shapes and different contours of the house. And my customer look at it and say, it's not for me. Location is good, and it's near to schools that they want to, but just the layout, they don't like it.
I see, makes sense as well. Other than so that helps with the capital appreciation, right? Let's talk a little bit about rental as well. What are the three main things to look for when spotting a property for rental gain?
For rental gain, I would also say that it's location near to MRT stations and then good schools as well. Because some parents, they want their certain address to put their kids into the school. So location is one. Then second thing I'll look out for is work areas. So you rent to people, right, like expats and foreign people, right? So you want to find a place that have this concentration of people. They work there. So it's proximity to the workplace as well. The next thing I want to look at is the price of the property. Because to have a good rental yield, right, I want to minimize my entry price as well. It doesn't make sense. Like rental yield, is affected by property price. If I buy a high property price, but my rental is still about the same as the next property that's the older one, then the rental yield will be lower. So I look at a few things. Location, then near to work areas, and then the entry price of the property.
So maybe we talk, if you don't mind me asking, like you said, so newer condos, do newer condos rent out at a premium compared to older condos?
Generally, it will be, but it's only how much, Because people like new things. I like to buy a new car, I like to buy a new watch. So newer launches or newer condos, as a tenant, I will want to gravitate towards that rather than the older ones that need maintenance and the pool is old and things like that. But it also must make sense to me. If the price gap is quite high, then no point. I might just stay put and renegotiate my landlord for a better price. But since there's a new supply in the area already. But just to add, Vicky, I think it's also important when you buy a place for a renter, must also think, okay, like you want to buy a one-bedder or two-bedder, and you must understand the concentration of all these kind of bedroom types in the area. If the area have a lot of one-bedders and studios, even if you buy a one-bedder there, it may take a longer time for you to find the right tenant and rent out.
Makes sense. Is it still worth buying a private property in the Geylang area?
Interesting. Okay. So for Geylang area, right, I feel that if you talk about undervalue earlier, I see that Geylang areas have a good potential to grow. But the only thing is being in people's minds, like it's a red light district and things like that. Certain lorongs they want to avoid. But government has a plan to rezone the whole Geylang area from Lorong 2 to Lorong 22. Right now it's residential and institution zoning, but they want to change it to commercial and institution zoning. So with that, right, that means lesser residential plots of land will not be, okay, maybe I just, So with that, right, residential new launches will not be able to take place in Geylang area in future because the zoning has changed, which means that supply will be lesser. Existing one will still stay, okay, or redevelopment will still stay, but new ones will not be able to build in the area. So with that, right, if the demand stays the same but supply goes down, then it has a good potential for entry and exit in future. And Geylang is so near to town, it's easily accessed and served by MRT stations. So I feel that Geylang properties actually has good potential.
So Jason, I hear this being spoken about quite a bit, and I think not many people know the details of it. But what exactly is CCR, RCR, and OCR?
Okay. CCR stands for Core Central Region. So they are the areas like the prime spots in Singapore. So like Orchard Road, Tanglin, Sentosa, Raffles Place, all these are the core spots in Singapore, the prime districts. So this is the CCR. Then for RCR stands for Rest of Central Region. That's outside the core Central Region. So they are like Queenstown area, Buona Vista, Toa Payoh, Novena, Newton, like just an outskirt a little bit, yeah. Okay. Then the OCR, outside central region, they are all the, like the more, we call the more ulu districts like Jurong, Yishun, Tampines, Pasir Ris. So these are all the HDB housing estates. The major ones is at. So there's 3 different areas: CCR, RCR, and then OCR. Yeah.
Very nice. Now it makes a lot more sense. What is COV?
Okay. COV stands for cash over valuation. So it's a difference between your purchase price and then the valuation price. So there's a gap there. So when there's a COV involved, it's not generally, so you totally cannot use loan or CPF to cover that difference. You have to pay by cash, use cash. Yeah, so to most buyers, it's quite painful. It's like, okay, this is a market valuation, but then I offer something higher. Not going to pay the difference in cash. That means I'm overpaying, like I'm paying above the market valuation.
Is it worth paying the COV?
Yes and no. If a house is newly renovated, quite nice, you don't need to renovate because it suits your styles and your preferences, then maybe it makes sense to pay the COV. Recently, I got one case in Tampines. COV is 30,000. We already know that, but we still enter in and go ahead with the contract because the whole house renovation costs around maybe about 80,000. But customers just pay 30K to acquire that renovation, and it suits them perfectly, the layout and everything. So, and the styles. Yeah. So to them, it's worth it because if you go and find a ID, go and rebuild the whole, the renovations, it may cost them about 80K to even 100K into this market.
Should first-time couples buy a HDB or private condo?
Okay. So this is $1 million question. So I have this same thought as well when I first started. Okay, so those two guys, if I can get a HDB, it's good because I have a head start, because I can get grants from government, and then HDB properties are affordable, and then also monthly installment is not that high. But then again, because it's a public housing, there's a different kind of regulations and rules set in place. Yeah. So compared to private, HDB has more restrictions. Yeah. But if I buy a private, if I have the ability, the capacity and the budget, buying a private may not be a bad choice. There's no need for MOP. I can own a property, I can stay for 3 years after seller stamp duty period. If the property makes sense, you're already appreciated, I can actually sell it and make a profit and move on to the next one. Yeah. So there's no right or wrong. It depends on individual's objective and budget. Because to buy a 3-bedroom condo, it may cost you about 1.8 to 2 million these days. But to buy a 3-bedroom HDB with 3 bedrooms inside, 4-room or 5-room flat, it may cost you about 400K to 800K depending on the location.
Should a first-time single get a BTO or resale HDB flat, especially after the age of 35?
Okay, so yeah, it's a good thing after 35 you can buy a HDB. But for HDB, right, if you buy a brand new one, a BTO, you can only get a 2-bedroom flexi, which means it's only 1 room inside, 1 hall, kitchen and bathroom. So you can buy that as a brand new one, but because the waiting period is 4 years. So what if this single now, but in 4 years time he wants to get married or even plans to have a kid? So maybe he will the size is too small for him already. Then waited 4 years, and then to sell that BTO, it will take another 5 years MOP. So it's a 9 years thing. So you have face space constraint, and it's like not in the initial plans for the single anymore. But the single can have alternative to buy a resale HDB. He can buy any size. Yeah. So he can buy maybe a 4-room to start. Then even if he finds that the space is too big for him, he can still choose to get rental income by renting out maybe 2 bedrooms and he stay in 1 room inside. So let's say he rent out the bedroom at $700. A month he can actually get $1,004 in terms of rental income. So no right or wrong, but I think as singles, they got to think about their future planning because buying a BTO, 4 years to build, and then to sell, right, is 5 years. So it's a 9 years thing in future to think about. Yeah.
So does it mean they have to be single for 9 years?
Yeah, but if they can't stay single or they want to get married, then maybe they trade out. Yeah. Yeah, the alternative may not be a good choice for them.
What is the latest rental rule and how does it affect the market?
Okay, latest rental rule, government allows renter to go from 6% to 8% unrelated persons. Okay, so basically, right, for HDB flat that is 4-room and above, yeah, you can actually rent up to 8% max. Yeah, and then also for private properties, if your private property is actually 90 square meters and above, yeah, you can actually increase the headcount to 8% unrelated. So somehow with this, right, it helps to meet with the rental demand in the market. Then, but most importantly for landlords, right now they can have the opportunity to get a higher renter. Yeah, so this is a new rental rule that's being relaxed from 6% to 8%. But bearing in mind that this rule is only temporary until end of 2026.
How do landlords in Singapore find the right tenants?
Okay, I'll say that to find the right tenants, okay, you can actually rely on the property agent, whereby like for me and Eloise, right, we actually list all our rental properties on portals. We also do social media to just reach out for potential tenants, also through print media as well. Yeah. But as a landlord, I feel that you should meet the tenant in person even before you enter into a tenancy agreement, to understand a little bit of the tenant and also understand how the tenant how many years they stay in Singapore, and then what's the reason of them wanting to shift out from their current rental properties. Maybe he don't have a good relationship with the landlord due to whatever reason. So certain things you can meet the tenant in person and then to uncover some of these things and whether you're comfortable with the tenant renting your place in the next 1 year to even 2 years time.
How do landlords in Singapore improve the rental yield of their house?
Okay, so to improve the rental yield, of course, you can try to increase your rental. Yeah, but to go above market rents, right, there must be some values to your house that the tenant finds to compared to other comparable properties. So they can maybe freshen up the house with a new coat of paint, maybe new furnishings, or maybe even can consider providing Wi-Fi connection that's under their expenses to the tenant. All this may not be a lot, no, but when you rent out to a tenant, they find the place nice, spice up, then with free Wi-Fi connection, they may be willing to pay a bit more on the monthly rental. Then if they sign a contract of 1 year to 2 years, actually can easily recover these things back.
So, Jason, now there's lots of DIY methods that going around, right? So DIY versus property agent, which one is better?
For me or for them? Okay, so to put things in perspective, DIY allows a buyer or a seller to save on agent commissions or agency fees. But then they have to manage all these viewings themselves. They've got to arrange the viewings. But most importantly, all these DIY buyers or sellers may or may not have the real transaction information or data that's currently in the market. So if you engage an agent, a trusted agent, we take out the whole procedure for you. Imagine, Vicky, you're a buyer. We'll source all the properties for you, arrange with the other side, the sellers or their agents, for you to view. At the same time, we'll show you the market data, or rental information. You can make an informed decision how much you want to offer if you're going to offer the property. It will also help you to negotiate, based on our negotiation abilities and skills that we have picked up over the last 15 years, that we can negotiate a better price for you with the sellers. And maybe, though you may still pay the agency fees, but that savings of time and money will make it more sense. That you engage an agent to oversee the whole procedure for you and the documentation needs. Because the last thing you want to do is you found a good property, but then documentation-wise, you have a problem. Maybe you don't qualify to buy it, or maybe you do a miscalculation in your financial information. So in the whole aspect, it may make sense for a buyer or a seller to consider having a trusted real estate agent to help them in the whole real estate needs.
I totally agree. And I know, Jason, you mentioned about trust quite a few times, right? How important is trust in the real estate journey of clients?
It's very important because the whole real estate journey, from offering a property to until to take the keys of the property could be 3 months to 6 months. So in these 3 months to 6 months, for me as a property agent, I handheld my owner or my buyer throughout the whole process to remove all the fuss and any potential legal implications or things that goes wrong. So trust is very important because it's not just a one-off thing. It's that we are together for the 3 months to 6 months. And then after that, going beyond, maybe for rental needs, for selling, for exit in future. So I feel that a trusted agent can oversee the whole process, over a span of years. It could be 10 years to 20 years. So I feel that developing trust is very important, and it's never a one-time, buy and sell, and then I wash my hands and you're on your own. If there's opportunity to, I want to serve the client and then their families and then their children as well. Right now, I got customers' children calling me Uncle Jason because when they bought the property, the children was only about maybe in secondary school, but now they're about 20 plus. They want to get married. Then the parents told them, you must find back Uncle Jason.
Elle, how did you end up joining Jason in the property business?
All right. So Jason started real estate in 2008, and because he's doing it alone and things got busier, so he was working like 7 days a week. Yeah, so when I saw it, wow, he was working really hard for the family. So in 2018, I decided to just take my exam and come into the property real estate industry. Yeah, so from then I passed my exam, and then I helped him in his back end, yeah, the admin and other stuffs. And then slowly Jason told me, say, okay, now you are ready to go for house viewing and negotiations. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you enjoy most about being a property agent couple?
I think it helped us in our personal growth and how we can help each other in our team building. Yeah, because like when you come being in a family, in a household and out at work is different. Yeah. So out at work you got to be more professional. Yeah. So there are times where of course we don't see eye to eye with situations, but we try and blend in together and we try and cover up each other in our weaknesses. Yeah. So we strengthen each other in many ways. Yeah.
Makes sense. And how does being a property agent couple, right, help you to help more clients?
We help more clients by in different ways in our own strengths. Like Jason, he will engage more with the husband or engage more with the wives, yeah, of our clients. So from there we build relationship, yeah, with each other. So more than just a transaction, yeah. So we go more into relationship because when you have relationship with your clients, it's easier to do things, yeah.
So Elle, tell us a bit about your achievements in the property industry.
All right, our achievements, we really thank our clients for their trust. How they trusted us really is very important to us because like in our years of this property industry, we won numerous awards like Transactor and top HDB transactions. Yeah, so we really thank our clients for trusting us. Yeah, they more than just trust than the transaction. The relationship with them, the sincere relationship that we have with them are really important to us also.
Okay. Elle, I know you've got many different hobbies as well, but
Yeah.
tell us about the hobbies that you have, Elle.
Okay, I recently, did this pineapple. Yeah, I'm more hands-on. Yeah, so like I did sewing, and recently like I'm into crochet. Yeah, crochet is like the trend now. So like there was one time like Jason told me, say you got to do something for our clients. Yeah, so I crochet up a pineapple. Yeah, so we give this to our clients because I feel that it's more meaningful that you give something that they can hold on to for very long.
So you created a crochet from scratch?
Yes.
Very
I took about like 2-3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, for
Okay.
this. Yeah.
Okay. And also maybe we could talk about, Elle and Jason also, could you tell us about your most memorable case as a real estate couple?
Okay. We have this family. Yeah, so their house is in Woodlands side. It's quite difficult to sell, near Marsiling already. And they're not near the MRT at all, so they are selling their house. And they actually have an agent representing them for maybe about 2 months. And then after stop conversing with them, basically stop every activity with them. So in fact, when we met them, right, they said that their agent hilang them. That means, the agent just left them. And then they were in desperate need to sell their house. They want to buy something because they have some financial issues. They want to downgrade to something smaller. And then the husband is turning 55 years old soon. Yeah, so in fact, it was like within 2 months, he turned 55. So we took the case and we could quickly sell the house and help him buy another house within that 2 months period. Yeah, because once he hit the 55, some parts of his CPF that comes out from the refund of the house will be locked for retirement. So it was a very, very stressful process. So we got to find a buyer, transact, and then help him buy. But in the end, we managed to complete it. And then in the midst of it, they still have some time to go for holiday, and we were very stressed. But in the end, we completed the whole case, and they were very thankful. And this was our very memorable case because the agent left them. We took over the case with a tight period. We managed to help them to sell and buy and realize their dreams to go to a different location and then downgrade their house so that they have a easier, lesser financial liabilities. Yeah.
Very nice. And it was a great pleasure having the both of you on the GrowCast Show. And that was Jason, that was Elle. Jason, is there any last words that you have for our listeners?
I just want to thank my customers who are watching. If you are watching, we want to thank you for your support and your trust. I think we couldn't go this far. For me, 15 years, together with Elle in this journey, we couldn't go this far without the support and the help of our customers as well, their trust.
Well, Elle, any last words from your side?
Yeah, we are same also. We are very thankful for our clients for the friendship, for the trust they have with us and journey together with us. Yeah.
Very nice. And that was episode 29 of the GrowCast Show. I had Jason Elle from Jason Elle Property. And if you are looking for property advice, you know who to go to. You want a couple that you can trust, a power property couple. You've got Jason, you've got Elle. And I will see you moving into episode 30s. Time passes really fast for me as well. I'll see you all in episode 30 onwards real soon. See you. Cheers. Take care and bye-bye.